Donald Trump is threatening these tariffs. And as we've explained a million times, it's going to lead to both job losses when other countries do the same to us, and a lot more expense for regular Americans when virtually everything they buy is jacked up in price. And the good thing is that a lot of people get that, apparently. 2/3 of Americans think that Trump tariffs will lead to higher prices. I would have worded that differently. I would have said 2/3 of Americans know that Trump tariffs will lead to higher prices, but that's good. You can't always count on people with busy lives and our media to understand what's gonna happen, but they do seem to get it. Although notably, not at equal levels across party ID. So Democrats, 79% say that it will increase prices. Independents are pretty like Democrats at 68%. Republicans are down to 59, which is much lower than the Democrats. But bear in mind, it's still a majority that seem to understand it. And I really do think that it's getting through. This morning, I was watching, one of the YouTube channels that I watch is Garage Gym Reviews. It's this guy who he does reviews for people who want to buy workout equipment or whatever. And he was doing his like Black Friday deals thing. And he introed the video being like, everybody, it might be a great time to buy whatever you need because these tariffs are gonna jack up the price of fitness equipment by like 25%. And I was like, well, he's 100% right. And it's good that people understand it and that they're getting this message from influencers or from the CEOs of companies like Walmart that are like, yeah, no, prices are gonna go up. And so I say that because Trump is going to want to hide what is leading to the inevitable outcomes of his policies. Prices are gonna go up. Him and Fox News, they're not just gonna be like, yeah, we were wrong, we done goof. They're not gonna do that. So they're gonna try to lie. And so this is gonna be a very important war of information over the next couple of years to make sure that people understand why this devastating economic reality is happening. And so Adrienne threw a lot out there. What do you think about this? We were having a conversation about ignorance and stuff like that before the show. Do you think people will get the message? Do you think Republicans will get the message?
Oh, Republicans, I don't know that they're going to get the message, especially if they're in their echo chamber, that is Fox News. We were talking about, I was listening to a podcast the other day, Today Explained by Vox, and they had on a UCLA professor who was talking about how people generally just do not read anymore. And so I don't expect Republicans to get the information, but I know that they're going to get the message in terms of suffering, even though they blame Democrats, because, as you mentioned, it's going to be retaliatory tariffs. There are going to be so many measures that are going to impact global markets and especially the US market. And the thing is, it's sad because if there were individuals reading out there, they've seen that this has happened before. In 1930, there was a Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act, and that led to retaliatory measures, collapse in global trade, and it exacerbated the Great Depression. And so we've seen these things happen before. This is why economists said that Trump's plans would tank the US economy. And unfortunately, it's just going to happen again because people will not read or educate themselves.
Yeah, look, Adrienne, you don't have to tell me. I've seen Ferris Bueller.
Yes.
I remember the classic description of how that works. Yeah, 100%. Now, very briefly, I do want to let people know why some might not get it. And it really does come down to media. So if you're watching Fox News over the last day, you might have seen Eric Trump go on there to demonstrate that he has no idea whatsoever how tariffs work. He was basically like doing a bad impression of his father, and he was like, oh, China, if you don't do what we want, then you're gonna suffer to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars, which isn't even how it would work. But that's fundamentally, no, they're not gonna suffer. I mean, sure, because of the price increases, I guess we'll buy less of their products, but that's not what he's describing. He's implying that they will have to pay hundreds of billions of dollars for the privilege of selling products in America, which is just not how it works. And look, generally, I would use this as an example of a Republican going on Fox News to lie to other Republicans, but Eric Trump's whole face implies that there's not a lot about the world that he does understand. So it's possible he's just this stupid and ignorant. I'm not gonna write that off as a possibility. Laura Ingraham, though, she pays attention to the news. She knows that this is not true. And it's not just him. Donald Trump, I'm not gonna read the whole bleats, but he's sending out these massive things about how we're gonna get every domestic policy priority we want solved by China or whatever, or else they're going to, quote, pay a very big price with these tariffs. But again, no, they're not. The MAGA world, the people on Truth Social reading that bleat are going to pay a very big price, and they're going to pay it until the tariffs are reduced. And I will say, he goes on eventually to talk about, he sees these empty factories, he wants businesses to come back or whatever, which could eventually happen as the result of this massive trade war. And I would have so much more respect for Donald Trump or the others if they would just be honest about what the strategy is. If they came out and said, I'm gonna do these tariffs, and then they're gonna do these tariffs, it's gonna shut down international trade, and man, it's gonna suck. And you're gonna spend thousands of additional dollars year after year after year, but eventually, maybe businesses will come back to America and they'll produce the products domestically, and then they won't be affected by the tariffs or whatever. And maybe that'll take 3 years, maybe it'll take 10 years, maybe it'll never happen. But that's the risk that I'm willing to have you take for my vision of the economy. If he was honest in that way, I would have way more respect for it. But he won't say that. No Republican will say that, even though that is literally the gamble they're making with your finances and with your family's finances. Any final thoughts about the tariffs, Adrienne?
I really kind of just feel bad for people and their unwillingness to educate themselves, because they're going to suffer greatly. And again, like kind of you noted, John, I really don't understand what the ultimate outcome and goal is here, because generally with Trump, we know it's to really feed the coffers of his comrades. But at the same time, there's going to be so much suffering and so little business that's truly going to be able to transact that I really don't understand what the ultimate goal is, other than just being an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, it seems like, considering the way American politics works right now, the ultimate goal is setting up for the Democrats to win a presidential election. And I see that as like a dark lining of the situation. I don't want that, because the path to that is massive suffering from non-millionaires and billionaires, regular people. So I don't want that, but that's what he's setting us up for. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.